All right, thanks to all of you for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, Brad, this seems to me to be a pretty big development among those people who've been trying to smear Michelle Obama.
It's not a development at all. John McCain was a POW for 5 years. I've traveled abroad to many third world countries and never appreciated America more than when I came back to America. It's the little things that you miss, and I'm sure John McCain felt the same way when he was a prisoner of war.
But Lars, what Brad is doing is providing context to John McCain's comment. And as I said, I have no problem with John McCain's comment. But people like you, Lars, have been on the air smearing Michelle Obama on this sort of notion that she doesn't love America, etc. John McCain said, I really didn't love America until I was deprived of her company. You can take that comment out of context the same way you've been taking Michelle Obama's comment out of context for weeks now. You tell me how that's any different.
I'll tell you how it's different. I think there is a different context. Michelle Obama is an amazingly fortunate individual. She's well educated. She's well compensated. She's married to a presidential candidate. That's about as high as you get in America. And yet here's a woman who stands up and gives speeches on behalf of her husband and goes beyond talking about being proud. She says America is a place as a country that's just downright mean, that average people can't make it, that the country does horrible things. She and her husband are friends with what? A terrorist, Mr. Ayers, a criminal, Mr. Rezko.
I mean, this is when you start. This is when you start in the nonsense. All right, this is when you start with the nonsense.
Why is that nonsense?
Because
Dan, why is that nonsense?
Because look, the notion. Jonathan is like chomping at the bit here. I'll let you respond to it if you want. But
yeah, you're saying you're just talking trash and nonsense, and it's a slur, and it's really, it's actually, frankly, it's kind of appalling. That you and others would stoop to this level, because it's not true. You don't know Michelle Obama. You haven't spoken, as I have, to many of her friends.
I don't claim to know her.
Black,
I'm taking her from a quoted word.
Many different people. No, you're taking. Let me just quickly just try to dispense with this. You're taking her out of context intentionally to try to twist her words for your own political purposes.
I'm not taking her out of context.
And it's borderline racist.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're a racist, but the comments are borderline racist.
But here's what I want to ask you, Lars. I challenge you. If Michelle Obama had used the words, if Michelle Obama had used the words, I really didn't love America until I was deprived of her company, and let's say it was in the context of something totally different, you would be out there taking it out of context and saying, Michelle Obama doesn't love her country. You'd be on the radio every day, Michelle Obama doesn't love her country, etc. And John McCain used those words.
You know what, Dan? Unfortunately, you couldn't qualify as one of my producers. Let me tell you a couple of things. First of all, America is the land of opportunity. Millions of people around this planet recognize this, which apparently your lefty guests don't recognize.
Thank goodness we have Lars Larson here to inform us about that. Okay.
No, but
sorry, go ahead.
Listen, there are
just
people...
out of curiosity.
Listen,
let me let him finish. Go ahead, Lars. Yeah,
hold on. Dan, do I get to respond or not?
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Do I get to respond or not?
Go ahead.
Listen. This country is a land of opportunity. So when Michelle Obama says average people can't make it, yes, people lose their jobs. But for the most part, America is a land of wonderful opportunities, which apparently Michelle Obama, even with all her education, doesn't see. And the smear that you put on people like me is the minute I quote her words,
but you're not answering my question, Lars.
Anybody.
Lars, you're not answering, and I'm going to ask it to Brad. I'll ask you the same question, Brad. If Michelle Obama had used the words we've uncovered from John McCain, I really didn't love America until I was deprived of her company.
But she didn't.
But you're missing the point, Lars. Lars, John McCain said it.
Dan.
John McCain said it. That's the point. I want to get Brad in here for John McCain this morning, okay? And the reason, part of the reason we're really talking about this tonight and why this is so important, this is how we uncovered this in the context of our research, was listening to Cindy McCain answer a question on Good Morning America about Michelle Obama.
Everyone has their own experience. I don't know why she said what she said. All I know is that I've always been proud of my country.
I mean, the problem here, Jonathan, again, is these taking out of... This has become a gotcha election. Look, everyone has to accept that. You may hate it, and rightfully so. But the bottom line is guys like Lars Larson are out there every day taking Michelle Obama's comments and either fairly...
Hold on a second.
You just told me... I'm not saying you inaccurately stated it. I just said... Let me finish the sentence.
But hold on a second. I quoted her
Lars, you're going to wait. You're going to wait, Lars, you're going to wait. And I said people like Lars Larson take comments from Michelle Obama and they then go on the air, and they'll make an entire segment, 2 segments, with a sentence that Michelle Obama said. He'll say she said it more than once, etc. And he'll even say that it's a theme. But again, looking at these comments from John McCain, you listen to these comments from John McCain. In the 1999 campaign, he said it. He said it again on Fox News this year, and I don't begrudge him for it. But what I do is I use it to say this is insanity. What's going on here?
Well, Dan, Dan,
I think Lars' question was
let me add
to
something.
Jonathan, hang on. Let me let Jonathan go. Yeah.
Dan,
look, I have great respect for the McCains, affection. In fact, I'm attacked sometimes from the left because I like both John and Cindy McCain very, very much. But I think that Laura Bush had the right approach on this. She wrote Michelle Obama a note after these comments were taken out of context, and she recognized.
Let me play that sound. I think I had the sound of Laura Bush talking about it. Let me play that sound.
I think she probably meant I'm more proud, is what she really meant. You have to be really careful in what you say, because everything you say is looked at and in many cases misconstrued.
I mean, you got to give Laura Bush credit.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's a classy lady, Laura Bush. And the idea, that these folks, want to just pull our politics lower and lower and lower
into the mud.
It's not even mud. It's stupidity is what it really is.
Hey,
Dan, come on.
Dan, the ad hominem attacks deserve a response.
Have you ever actually met Michelle Obama? Have you ever spoken to her? Have you ever spoken to anybody who knows her?
No, I've taken her
Have you taken the time? Do you think that's the totality of Michelle Obama? Do you believe that's the way to assess what she really believes about the world?
Hey,
do you think that's the way to assess what kind of human being she is? What she thinks about America? To snip a couple of quotes
Dan, I'm not going to get a chance to respond,
out of context? Let me finish my point, Lars. You don't know Michelle Obama. You have no right to judge her in this fashion.
I don't claim to.
And it's contemptible that you do.
Go ahead, Lars.
I think this is wrong. Trent Lott was judged based on one sentence he said at an old man's birthday party, and the left didn't apologize for that. The fact is that this woman went out and gave this speech 4 different times. She knew a reporter was following her. She was speaking on behalf of her husband. I'm not taking her out of context. And the minute I quote her words in context, the first thing you bring up is her skin color. Now, I think that's contemptible because what you're trying to say is if I quote her actual words in context, the fact that she has black skin makes her immune from being quoted. That's racism on your part.
You're trying to turn her into a stereotype of an angry black woman. We know exactly what you're trying to do.
I'm quoting
it's not a secret.
But
you wouldn't be doing it if the woman was white.
Hang on one second.